Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Burgers with Eric podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Burgers with Eric podcast. My name is Stephen James, your host. To my right is the largest human being that looks like Dan Bilzerian in all of South Florida, the Airbnb king himself, Eric Weingart!
Thank you. People come up to me in public and ask me for my autograph thinking I'm Dan Bilzerian.
I know, because you're a gigantic human with the sexiest beard I've ever seen in my entire life.
I appreciate that. I'm trying to get down in size, though. No, dude, you're like a bear.
You're a bear. I'm jealous. Podcast number 3. What are we doing today, E?
You know, we got a cool show, man. Last week we got to talk about my background a little bit, right? And what I think is so cool about getting into your background today is, man, anybody listening to this, you're going to have your choice of where you decide to go, especially if you're a young man, young woman, 20 years old. You're going to hear a lot of different stuff today. We got a real cool, I don't even want to call him a guest. I want to call him a good friend. We'll hear Mike's background today, and people are really going to hear a lot of cool different opportunities or paths to make some money.
Yeah, just different stories, guys, and everybody's path is completely different. Like, we got yours yesterday. There's shit in there that I didn't know about you, dude. Like, I'm on back and listen. Did you live in a foster home?
Yeah, in and out, right? The truth is, man, not to embarrass my mom, but she couldn't afford a babysitter at one point. Yeah. So I was literally 4 or 5 years old. And she couldn't afford a babysitter at night, so I was sleeping home by myself at night. Eventually, somebody found out about it. I went to a foster home for a little while.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah. From that journey to the story that we heard last week, I mean, that's incredible.
From the mud.
Yeah,
from the mud.
Dude, look, mine's not, my success story is not exactly, I don't want to call it like rags to riches, because I grew up, very middle class. 2 9-to-5 parents that worked, 30, 35 years before they retired, which they are now, and they're, finally enjoying life. But, early on, for me, it was always like, my mom would grab the mail and pick us up from the babysitter, grab the mail. I'm like, oh, bills. Oh, shit, bills. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm
stress,
like,
constant financial stress.
Yeah. As a young kid, like 6, 7 years old, I'm like, wow, they really don't like that. They should get more money.
Yeah, a bad relationship with money is tough to watch.
Well, it's not that they had a bad relationship with money. We've covered this a couple of times. That we come from a really conservative place, financially and socially, being from Western New York. But they just did what they were told to do, because my father grew up one of 7. My grandfather was a trucker, never home. So, you want to talk about, his upbringing was poverty. So the life they delivered for my sister and I was, not like comfortable. Like, we didn't have to go on any government assistance or anything like that. So I don't want to say, my story is a rags to riches story, but, for me, I always knew I wanted to. You asked my mom, right? My mom will always say, you always said you wanted to be rich, a little kid. And, rich is very relative. If you're used to making $25,000 a year, $100,000 a year is a shitload of money.
Yeah.
If you're used to making 100, 400,000 is a lot. Used to making 400, a million's a lot. So rich is very relative.
Joe Rogan said something cool about that. You know what he said? And I thought this. So we can sit here and talk about what is the definition of rich, right? And
Right.
I agree with you. Right. It's so relative, okay? Because every step that I take, it's like I never feel rich, or I never even feel wealthy. It's just, so I'm trying to get to the next step. You know what Joe Rogan said? It was really cool. He goes, dude, in this country, you're rich. If you go to the restaurant and you're eating out and you don't look at the prices of the menu, by most people's standards, you're doing pretty good.
You're doing real well. Yeah. As opposed to, I have to kill that squirrel in my backyard to eat. That's a whole other. We could do an entire episode on just how entitled and selfish and just ignorant most American people are. They've never set foot in foreign soil, to even see what it's like, So at the end of the day, we'll cover my my story here. So
dig in, man.
Yeah,
so
no,
start.
so
childhood.
Childhood was good. I kind of covered all that stuff. Very, comfortable.
Yeah.
Never, wanting, but never any excess, which is fine because my parents did their job. They delivered a better life than they had growing up, and for that I'm extremely grateful. They taught me the value of money, and nothing for me was ever given. They gave me an '89 Dodge Shadow when I was 16 and probably crashed that into a Dodge minivan, which was fine. My dad was pissed, but that's about all my parents handed me without working for it. So like I said, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. High school, fairly basic. Went through with probably I think I had a B- average, something like that.
I would say that's pretty good.
It's not bad. I was like 86.
I didn't even graduate high school in time.
Get the hell out of here.
I swear on my life.
But what's interesting, and this is the first point in our lives where we have similarities, because out of high school I went to the same college you did, Rockport, right? Pledge of Fraternity, which was ultimately a massive building block for my success journey, because fraternity life, Greek life in general, gets a terrible rap. And the reason it gets a terrible rap is because, like we explained on episode 1, the news is only going to show you what they want you to see. And you never see a fraternity or a sorority donating the money that they do. Like, I know when I was in college, we donated a shitload of money to the March of Dimes. That was our national fraternity's philanthropy. Like, you don't see that. But the reason for me that it was so influential in my life moving forward, and again, I don't want to insult you by saying the whole Navy thing, like the hardship that you went through in the Navy. I don't want to draw a real strong parallel, but there is a parallel there. And the reason there's a parallel there is because the pledge process that you go through with a group of men, and it's a lot like a military boot camp, right? And that's all I'm going to say about that. But any sort of traumatic experience builds mental fortitude, physical fortitude, and the importance of the brotherhood of men.
You're taking some stuff you're keeping it in the vault, aren't you?
Yeah, we're not.
What you just said.
Well, I mean, dude, it's an oath
you threw the key away.
And again, at 43 years old, people listening might be like, dude, that's ridiculous. Grow up. Well, at the end of the day, I'm still beholden to that oath to some very good friends of mine, and that's what we went through, man. Wow. So that shit goes to the grave with me. It's just, what do you have? What do you have in this world besides my word, and my balls? And I don't break them for nobody.
I like it. Hey, this is cool. I didn't realize. I didn't know this about you. I really did.
Yeah,
this is cool.
No. I mean, people that know me. Like all my brothers. They'll tell you the same thing. Yep. A lot of my best friends would say the same thing too. But so that kind of gave me the foundation in the form of life lessons, like trust, respect, all that stuff. Promptly failed out of college because, like you, I was interested in nothing but women, sports, and drinking.
Amongst other things.
Amongst other things, I'm sure. But, failing out of college, looking back at it now, was a blessing, because that also was a catalyst to, get into sales and learning that craft, learning phone sales. Again, the mental fortitude that something like a military boot camp or my fraternity's pledge process was tremendous for the world of sales, right? And the one thing that I really benefited from fraternity wise was the sales organization in Rochester hired probably 3 or 4 of my fraternity brothers, and that's how I got in, right? So even without that 4-year degree, I was reaping the benefits of the decision I made to join a national fraternity. So we get hired at this phone sales company, bro. Like, you're in sponsorship. What the fuck is sponsorship? Now, this company went out and did these motivational training seminars for realtors and shit.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah, you know exactly.
Wow.
You know exactly who. And again, that's a whole fucking 20-minute conversation about how
they're flying high for a while,
bro. A long time.
Yeah,
a long time. Long story short, 150 dials a day, boys. Guess what? No chairs, right? There were no desks. There were no chairs. You were literally tethered to that fucking headset and your phone all day long. 150 dials, because they knew if you got 150 dials in, you're going to get 11 pitches out. And out of 11 pitches, you're getting one contract, right? And the contract paid us pretty good, right? The boys that worked the higher ticket shit, those guys were making, 80, 100K. And again, in Rochester, that's fucking huge.
Yeah, 2003, too, we're talking, too.
Man, that was, three, four, because the champs, right? So I was working for them, knowing I was moving to South Florida, but I was also working at Champs to get that side hustle money. So, I do this sales gig for a while, learn a lot of important skills, and again, looking back at it, wow, what a valuable education. Granted, we didn't make a crap load of money, but, the skills it taught me were an arc to getting into this affiliate marketing game. So, again, fast forward, moved to Florida, was here for about a year, a hurricane hit. I'm literally penniless, bro. Penniless. My parents gave me like a $300 gift card for Christmas.
Oh, God.
And, dude, I lived on that shit for like a month.
Wow.
So I ended up getting hired at Carnival Cruise Lines, which was really cool because, people don't realize what an organization that is, bro. 700 personal vacation planners in one building.
Yeah, I know it's a massive company, but...
Dude, so there's 700 of us. Every day you'd get an average of 41 leads. And you're selling cruises to people who want to go on a cruise.
Inbound, 41.
Bro.
And you're closing how many of these?
Fucking 20, 15, 20, 29. 25 a day, bro.
80% closing percentage.
Yeah, dude, without a doubt.
Wow.
Right? And because I had that boot camp-esque sales training from an organization that didn't take any shit, and if you didn't hit your numbers, you're done. Right? So coming from that to an inbound situation.
Yeah, it's like going from hardball to softball.
Bro, and I'm selling
home runs.
Fun. I'm selling fun. You want to go on a cruise, Billy? Let's go on a fucking cruise. How many days do you want to go on a cruise? 5? Okay, cool. All I need is $100 deposit. Holds it, bro. And the company's paying us fucking $70 on the 100.
Wow.
Right. So imagine that. No, I'm crushing that, right? So then the company calls me back and is like, hey, you and one of your fraternity brothers that still works here, we're going to launch this web-based thing, right? It's going to be you two running it. Money, 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 money. So I chased the money like an idiot. Because I probably left $4,000 or $5,000 on the table, and this was back in 2006. Well, that was a good amount of money at Carnival, per month. And that was all the money in the world for me, because those guys never paid me more than like $35,000, $36,000 a year. So I fuck it, pack up, back up there. This is what we're gonna do, right? We get it off the ground and make the first sale for that company, chugging along for like 7-8 months, and all of a sudden, payment processing goes down because we're charging monthly shit. And now knowing what I know about recurring payments and continuity programs and all that stuff, that's absolutely what sank it, because the company had no idea. He's a stage salesman. Well, what are you doing dipping your toes into internet marketing? So long story short, that thing falls apart. I was actually engaged to some chick, and she's like, what is this internet thing, right? Now this is the beginning of the real journey, which was, I know this little guy that was friends with my parents' neighbor, right? Young kid, like 24 at the time, driving around a Maserati, right? Owns his own house. And here's me, like 4 years older than him, like, what the fuck? What is he doing? Right? This girl that I know is like, yeah, dude, he sells books on the internet. I'm like, what do you mean he sells books on the internet? I go, give me his email address. Tell me what's up. So I say, hey, buddy, like, we met in the car scene. You're friends with our neighbor. Like, so-and-so says you're doing really well. You want to meet up or whatever? And he's like, yeah, this is what I do, right? I sell digital products on the internet through ClickBank. And here's a link to all my stuff so you can take a look at it, right? So it's affiliate marketing training one of the sick tips, and this worked really well back in the day, was, pick up a product, and if you're heavy into forums, change your forum signature. You remember forums?
Of course I do.
Yeah, Facebook killed them all.
Yeah.
Right. So back in the day, I was big in the 3000 GT game, and I had 20,000 posts or whatever. So I grab a ClickBank link, I change my signature. 2 days later, I had $187 in commission. And dude, that $200 was a shitload of money back then for me. And it was selling, all I did was I picked up a computer virus software affiliate program, right? Yep. And I put that in my signature, and I made $187. And that was amazing. So the chick I'm with is well, that's all a scam.
Yeah, because her initial reaction is that because you're not on the phone with somebody,
right?
Not meeting someone face to face. The idea. So I'm just trying to help people rewind here 2 decades almost.
Yeah.
The idea of purchasing or creating a sales,
creating an income passively, by just people clicking on shit.
Yeah.
Right. Back then,
it was foreign.
Yeah, completely foreign. Now it's very mainstream. But she's get a real job. That's a scam. You'll never make a dime on the internet, right? She ends up breaking up with me.
Wow.
Right? Now looking back, smart move on her part, but also kind of a dumb move. Right? Because look, I was a 26-year-old guy. She had a kid, bro.
Yeah.
She didn't need some dumbass 26-year-old kid that has a car obsession and wild dreams, right? Single moms generally, in my very good in my experience, right?
Yep.
Single moms need way more stability than somebody else. So I don't have any hatred in my heart for her for breaking up with me, but it also put a massive chip on my shoulder.
I bet.
Okay, I ain't good enough for you. I'll show you.
Yep.
Reach back out to this guy. Well, now, okay. It's a scam. Get a real job. Okay, honey. I get a job for ADP selling payroll. Right? 2008 happens. Banks fall apart. No more small business loans. No more leads for Steve. Here's 3 months worth of severance. Bye. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I'm never working for another company again because the sales training organization systematically fucked every single one of us. Every single one of them that built them their $6 million a year business out the door. ADP, massive Fortune 500 company, laid you off, right?
The entity comes before you at being an employee.
Always.
Whereas as an entrepreneur, you get to prioritize yourself.
Always. So, she leaves me high and dry. I now have no job. I have $300 to my name again. At 28 years old, I have to move back in with my parents. Wow. Right? So that broke something in me that I'm done being fucked. I'm going to be the one doing the fucking from now on. And that's what I did. So I started a t-shirt company, leveraging my fraternity contacts back at Brockport State University. Right? Doing really well. And then, it dawned on me that, dude, I'm not going to be a successful business owner running a t-shirt business out of my parents' basement. It's not going to happen. So I ended up reaching back out to the Little Internet Marketing guy, and I said, hey, bro, I got a t-shirt company. It's doing good. I know you got an office. Let's split the rent. And he goes, yeah, that's all fine and well, but I need a relationship manager. What did you used to do for ADP? And I'm like, relationship management with bankers. And he's like, dude, just come in. Let me show you. This is easy. I'm like, no. Yeah, I actually told him no.
Wow.
I'm like, no, dude. Nope. Done working for other people. He's like, bro, come in. Let me show you. It's fucking simple. He goes, I'll pay you $400 a week under the table so you can keep, collecting your unemployment and all this shit. And I'm like, oh, well, that sounds good. Yep. Yeah, no problem. So all I had to do, bro, was take a list of his affiliates, right? People that had products of their own to sell, his calendar, and then just set up cross promotions. Like, dude, that's it. Coming from selling shit, I'm just like, hey, this guy's got an opening on his calendar. He'll smoke your offer, right? You're going to make a shitload of money. Let's set up a promo, right? We generally drop 5,000 clicks, right? And that's what you do. That's all we did. Wow. It was literally like handing out fucking free candy. Yeah. So naturally, that was a very successful endeavor. The first week's paycheck was $4,700.
No way.
For a week.
You weren't making that a month. You weren't even.
I wasn't making
close
that
to that a month.
Not even close.
Yeah. Wow.
And he's still going to the bank every Friday, pulling out $400. I was blown away. Like, how the fuck can you even afford to do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
I remember one time I asked him, I go, dude, have you ever made $1 million? And he goes, yes. Mind was blown. And it was like nothing to him, dude. It's just like, whatever. Yeah, I made $1 million.
You know what's cool about that story?
What's that?
Is I'm listening to you because I'm thinking about all the people listening to this, right?
Yeah.
And I know men and women, right? I think we have, by the way, I think like 20% of people listening to this so far are women.
19%.
19%.
Thanks, Mom.
That's amazing. My social media following is like 99 and 1. It's literally like 1%. So we're doing something right with the ladies.
For sure.
But you know what's cool about that story, man? You know what it really makes me think about is, dude, everybody's path, as long as they're serious about it and they really want it, right? Everybody's path is different, dude.
Way different.
Like I was sitting there thinking, wow, when Steve was 28, he was, fucked up in a bad place.
Yeah.
I was probably making 150, maybe 200 grand in sales. I was kind of ascending, right?
Yeah.
But my path was different than yours. And I think to someone out there that's, dude, 32, 38, 22, and they feel like they're just,
I'm running out of time.
You
You're
just
not.
got to keep hammering away, hammering away.
So people, right?
Yeah.
So to that point, hammer away, right? So I take this affiliate manager job with my guy, right? I had replaced a kid who knew this shit for 3 years prior to me. Right, so what I ended up doing was, okay, so I now I understand how the back end of all this stuff works, where he's selling the lead for, at the time he was returning like $125 to $200 per sale.
Jesus.
Bro. Per sale.
Yeah, it's dope.
And he's doing 1,000 sales a day. So you can do the math.
Oh, God.
Right. Like you can just, right? So now I'm like, holy shit. All I need to know is how to build a website. Because I went to college for graphic design, right? So that part was easy. Been in sales my entire life. So writing a sales script is nothing. That was easy. Only missing piece was how to build a website. Mm-hmm. So I sat down for 3 days, taught myself HTML, put an offer together, tested it on our in-house account, and it was like 1.6% converted. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, look what I built, right? I'm your employee. Look at this step I just took.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we partner up on it? And he's like, no, that's okay. You can have it. I'm like, what? Okay. Whatever.
He's making money hand over
Oh,
fist.
he did. Yeah, but that's not the point, right? Like you, as an employer, dude, how many? We'll ask our guest Mike this: how many employees that you have are going to take that extra step to make themselves more valuable? Most people are just doing a fucking bare minimum, just to get their paycheck to go home and watch Netflix at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. So when he tells me no, that okay, I'm about to get fucked, feeling comes back. So he goes, all right, hey, I'm going to this infomercial shoot. You go to New York City for ad tech. I'm like, all right, I'll go to ad tech. So I meet a bigger guy. And he goes, oh, dude, you know ClickBank and CPA? Because at this time, CPA was novel, dude. It was new. I'm like, yeah. And, we kill that shit. He's like, well, we're starting a CPA network ourselves. What'll it take for you to come work for us? And I said, joking, and I was fucking kidding, right? I wanted to pull like a baller move, double what he pays me and you can have me.
Thinking it's totally unrealistic.
Right. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, no problem. Like, what? He goes, yeah, I'll just talk to Sean real quick. I'll get back to you tomorrow. He's like, yeah, no problem, dude. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So now I double my shit.
Connections.
I have my own offer, right? And now I'm working for one of the biggest guys at the time in the industry. And now I have access to all of their traffic for my offer, right? Do you see how when opportunity strikes and you make yourself more valuable, people see that value and then they'll compensate you tremendously for it. So that all happens. That network ended up going under because I think an advertiser owed them like $360,000 and they just shut their doors. But at the time, now I had even better relationships with all the affiliates that were running over there. Shout out to my boy Stevie Johnson Stevie Johnson podcast. He's an amazing dude. He's one of the guys that really set me on a path of success because he was probably, if I had to guess, probably number 3 or 4 in the industry at the time. And he took me on because we always vibed together. We launched a product, made me $120K, bought me my first house. We launched a second product, made me $250K. And now we're talking in a matter of like 90 days, right? So coming from a kid that made $38,000 a year to 120 to 250, at the beginning of this podcast, we talked about success is relative, right? So that was all the money in the world at the time, just dude flying high.
Yeah, you're a
bro.
trillionaire at that point.
A fucking trillionaire.
And the psychological feeling is like,
unbelievable.
You hit it.
And the sick part is, bro, I'll never get that feeling back. You'll never get it back. You'll never achieve that either. Even if somebody handed you $10 million, your fucking life doesn't change.
Yeah.
Right? So that, realizing success, I can still remember the way I felt. It'll never come back. So, me and Stevie do our thing. We crush it. I got a couple things going. And then along comes one of our mutual friends, Justin, right? When we work together at CGI with Justin and you.
No doubt.
And he goes, "What are you talking about on Facebook?" And he's like, you're a bum. I know you're not successful." And I go,
those are his exact words.
Yeah, exact words. He's a real ball buster, or really was back in the day. But I'm like, bro, fuck you. I got three grand net a day, says I am. He's like, all right, let's go to lunch. I'm like, yeah, no problem. And we're friendly, bro. Like it's just ball busting amongst friends. It's like, all right, yeah. So we meet up at Moe's. And the first thing this little prick asked me, "Show me your bank account. I don't believe you."
Oh, he pulled the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, he
move.
sure did.
He said, "You show me a check for 75 grand. I leave my fucking job right now. I work for you."
Essentially, yeah. Essentially, dude. And I think there was we'll have to ask Justin, but it was either 80 or 120,000 in cash in my checking account at the time. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, that's what I do." I said, "Here's what I'll do. I'm going to build you your first landing page. I'm going to show you where to get traffic, show you where to get the offers. Like, leave me the fuck alone." And the reason leave me alone is because I've tried to show all of my best friends, bro. I tried to bring everybody with me on this journey. They wouldn't even go past step 1.
Now, he's got a computer science background.
He
right?
does. Yeah.
You did it. Right?
Fuck no. No, dude.
So it was probably a little quicker for him to pick it up.
Yeah,
right?
no. I mean, he at least understood, some of the language.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is not a skill. What I do is not a skill you learn at college. They don't have courses on this shit. Right. You learn by doing, and you learn from somebody that's already been there. So this is what fine. I'll build you your first one. Leave me alone. Right. So every day for like 6 months, we communicate through Skype. Ask me a question. I'd ignore him for like 45 minutes just to see. Right. 9 times out of 10, he'd have the answer, bro. Yeah. So all right, now my eyebrows up. Like, all right, and I knew he was a go-getter anyway. Fast forward probably a month, and he's got his own offer built. He actually went out and got a real merchant account, which we never use. We always use an aggregator because it's easy. It's more expensive, but he goes and does that. Right. So now my art goes back to how I made myself more valuable for my guy. He made himself more valuable for me, or for himself. Right. Because at the time we're not partnered. So he launches his product. I think he made like 10 grand his first month. Quits his job instantly. And I go, all right, bro, you get it. You're in. Nice. I go, dude, we're partners on everything moving forward. Probably 2011 or 2012, we came out with a series of 3 products between 2011 and 2014, 15. And that made us, dude, tremendous amount of money. I think at one point we were printing about 10,000 profit a day.
Oh, my Lord.
A day, bro.
That's wonderful.
Doing nothing.
Yeah. That's
literally paying a bill every week. That's all we were doing.
In 2006, your ex-fiance said, "Stay away from this internet stuff."
Yeah.
Did you think about that?
Every fucking day. Every day. So thank you.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Dope.
Because, whoops. Still in Rochester.
Success is the sweetest revenge, man.
It is. Living well is the best revenge. So we do that, right? Now, Justin and I are really rolling in it. We're doing good. And then we're saying, hey, why are we paying 20% more to a network when we know all these people anyway? Let's just test the theory. Let's get the same tracking platform. test it out. One by one, we pick off some of the bigger guys. It's working just fine. Well, now all we have to do is pay them. So we launched Nexus Offers in 2016. You know, we proved the concept off the grid. Launched Nexus Offers in 2016. First year out the gate, $8.5 million in revenue. Right, wow. Just through relationship building. Right, the arc goes back to my fraternity. Right, that taught me how to deal with different personalities, how to get what you want, how to be nice, how to play nice in the sandbox, and that's what we did, man. $8.5 million out the first year. And then 2020, we entered into negotiations with Smart for Life to make an exit. We made a $6 million exit in November 2021. And that's kind of where I am now. I'm sort of in between, you know, the advertiser thing. I still consult for them. I'm on salary for them. And that's where I am now, man. I got married in 2016. I had 2 kids in 2020. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Ready? So for our
that's my story, and I apologize to Mike. Dude.
No,
it was supposed to take 15, bro. It took 30.
It's awesome. I was excited to hear it. Let me ask you this before we bring Mike on. Young entrepreneur, young hustler, 22 years old, right? Just got out of college or said fuck college, right?
Yeah.
And they're
yep.
Can someone still get into your space?
Yeah, and
be wildly successful?
Yeah, absolutely. Now here's the difference, right? When I was coming up in what the hell is that? 2008. Like I said, you had to know somebody that was in the business, and it was evident because you had pockets of guys in Akron, you had pockets of guys in Rochester, you had pockets of guys in Atlanta, right, Louisiana. Because all of their friends took them with them, and they all learned from one guy who shall remain nameless. But yeah, now I like to say this: there is no excuse for poverty, because all of this information is available on YouTube if you know the right places and the right keywords to search. There's plenty of courses, but Mike asked me all the time, "What about this Amazon shit?" I'm like, "No, bro." He's going to charge you $5,000 just to get his base course, and then he's going to whack you for 50 G's to coach you. Yeah. No, dude. All this information is free. Do you think I fucking paid somebody to learn how to set up a podcast? No. It's just, you just research. People still don't realize you have the most powerful supercomputer ever built right here in your hand. There's no shortage of information. So to answer your question, yeah. If you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, there's no reason for you to go to college unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer at this point.
I agree with that.
I know you do. Most entrepreneurs do. So if you have it in you, like, dude, go be a faceless YouTube channel, bro. Like, it's unbelievable. I bought a $16 course from Udemy, Udemy, on setting up a nameless, faceless YouTube channel that can make you $30,000 a month, bro. Think about this. If you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're getting paid $15 an hour to fucking sit there and monitor customers and check them out or whatever, you could put a video together in 1 hour that you don't even have to write. You don't have to appear on. You don't have to speak on. And you can put it into YouTube, get a little bit of traffic to that shit, and watch it go viral through Facebook and TikTok and all this stuff. And YouTube pays you CPM, bro. They pay you per 1,000 views. On top of that, affiliate links. You can put that stuff in the description. There's no excuse for it. And what I just explained to you, all of that information is out there for very little money or free. So yeah, to answer your question, man, there's even less barrier to entry to making money online today than there has ever been. You just have to know what to look for. So. All right, cool. So let's bring on Mike, dude. And again, Michael, I apologize to you, brother. That was supposed to be 15 minutes. I got stuck, and Uncle Steve's a little bit winded. But we have a special guest, Mike Brown, Buffalo native, an absolute monster of a modern man as well. We don't bring bums onto this.
Where's the round of applause, bro?
Mike Brown. What's up, Papa? How you doing, man?
What's up, homie?
Oh, my first podcast ever.
First one ever. I love it. I'm happy you're here, bro. For those that don't know, Mike is actually one of my neighbors. Lives in the neighborhood we met in what was that? About 2018?
Yeah. Trick or treating.
Yeah, Halloween.
With the
Dude
kids.
rolls through my my driveway with a Bills hat on. I'm like, motherfucker, what's up?
What's up?
Time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
serve me shots out front.
That's right, dude. Yeah, the Rupert house for Halloween is about getting the parents all messed up.
Yeah.
And now I understand why, right? Like in 2018, we didn't have kids.
And then the pitch came right away, right? I didn't even make it out of the driveway, and I was already pitching, I think.
No, yeah, I mean, no, not
a
really.
roof or something? Or were you trying to pitch a roof?
No, not for lending. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I
hard-
was telling you
hard money
already. I
lending.
flip houses.
I think, yeah, no, dude. I mean, you eased into it. You're too hard on yourself, man.
Yeah.
No, you eased into it. You mentioned that you were looking for hard money lenders, and at the time, I was dabbling in, buying shit from the Palm Beach County auction, which was a terrible plan. Right, and then I think the next year, I think it took us about a year to actually do a funding deal, and I did that. But Mike is the owner of Heroic Homes. Tell him what other companies you own, because I know you got your fingers on a couple.
Heroic Homes and Heroic Construction are my two big companies, and I'm, transitioning a little bit out of Heroic Homes. Still gonna flip houses, but with the way the market is, we're not sure which way it's gonna go. So I have a residential contractor's license and also a roofing contractor's license.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm really starting to push that because there's just not enough contractors out there right now.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's amazing, bro. Because I know you guys pray for hurricanes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the wife and I had a conversation. Maybe we should go over to the West Coast, but I'm not a storm chaser,
Nah, I don't.
I want to be right here, doing the work.
Is there crazy work going on over there now because of the storm they had?
yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the problem is that these insurance companies are going belly up, like 8 or something have went belly up in Florida in the last year. So it just, for me, it those are the mainly people that have the money is getting insurance money. And it's like, then you got to finance a lot of the projects too and wait for money to come in.
And now money is extremely expensive. So it's
yeah, exactly.
So how'd you get your start? What brought you? Let me ask you this: What got you started? Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Not at all.
No?
Not one bit.
You grew up in Buffalo?
Grew up in Buffalo and didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. And I used to wrestle, and I went and visited some of my friends that were older than me because I'm 37, a little bit younger than you guys. But I always had friends that were older on the team that wrestled. So went and visited them in college, and I was like, I don't think I can go to college because I used to love to have fun and party even at like 10th, 11th, 12th grade. I was like, drinking and, hey, Mom, I'm staying at my buddy's house who really his parents didn't know we were going to another party. And you know what I mean?
I thought that was the purpose of college.
Yeah, exactly.
Me too, clearly.
But so many people would just flunk out. And I was like, man, I don't want to go to college and flunk out and not know what I'm going to do. So I was like, and then another buddy of mine on the team, his brother-in-law was a Navy guy, and he was because he had an older sister, and so he was maybe 8 years older than us and was already in the Navy doing real well as military police. So I was like, oh, let me join that. So I signed up.
It's another Navy boy here.
Yeah.
That was our bonding.
Oh
thing
my
at the
God!
Bills.
There's two seamen sitting next.
But
to
here's what's funny though. I signed up, and then I was like, I'm not gonna go. And then they were chasing me down for like a month, saying, "You signed your contract, you gotta go." Right?
Talk about great salespeople.
Yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
recruiters, they'll hound you.
I bet.
Then so I was like, you know what? I just gotta go.
Just do it.
What's holding me here?
Buffalo.
So that's actually how I ended up in South Florida because after boot camp and after A school, I got stationed to Iceland.
Nice.
Lived in Iceland for a year and a half,
Bro.
and after going Buffalo,
No, stop. I gotta know. I know some stories about Iceland. Give me one good story from Iceland.
Yeah, where the fuck is Iceland even?
It's near
Iceland's
Greenland.
in Europe.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. So
150,000 people.
One
in the country.
good story from being stationed in Iceland.
let's
bro.
just
And I
say,
know you have some.
So the second day I get to Iceland, we go out on the town. We end up because it was like a holiday or something. So we ended up having like 4 days off as soon as we got there. So the guys were like, oh, you just got into town, let's go out. And I was 19, and the drinking age was younger. So we go out, and I end up meeting like a girl out there, and the guys are like, "Yo, we got to go. We're going back to base." And I was like, "Nah, I'm all good. I'm gonna stay with her." And they're like, "Dude, are you sure? You don't even know how to get around." I was like, "Nah, I'll stay with her." So I end up staying with her. We go to her parents' house, who she doesn't even live with anymore. She wakes up her little brother out of her bed and kicks her out of bed, and then I end up hooking up with this girl like in her bed. We wake up at,
house.
yeah, we wake up in the morning, and then we walk out in the living room, which is literally like 5 feet away, and her parents are just sitting there looking at me. And I was like,
God, cringe.
yeah.
Cringe.
And then I had no idea how to get back to base. I had to have
Bro,
her.
this is your first day in
This is my
There's no
second
Uber,
day.
by the way.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
no.
What year is this?
This is 2006.
Do they speak English in Iceland?
2005.
What do they speak in Iceland? I know. I feel so
Icelandic.
uncultured.
Icelandic.
Is it
Their own language.
like, can you read the signs?
No
Well,
way.
how the fuck did you get home?
So she ended up giving me a ride back to the base, but she didn't have like the base credentials, so she couldn't drive me on base, let
Right.
alone now it's cold as hell.
Oh, yeah.
We're in Iceland. So she leaves me at the gate, and
Bye.
I end up having to walk a mile from the gate, and I don't even have a jacket, all the way to my barracks building,
Oh,
right?
my
And I'm
God.
hungover. It's like, by the way, in Iceland it's real weird. You stay out, like, because of the way the sun is. It's
Yeah.
like Alaska.
Yeah.
So you stay out, like, crazy hours.
It's like 2:30 in the morning. And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
noon.
yeah. We got back to her parents' house at like 5 a.m. So, and then she drops me off at base at like 3 in the afternoon.
Welcome to the Navy, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so,
So-
you do the Navy thing.
Yep.
So from the Navy, you end up.
I didn't know whether to stay in or get out, but I didn't like how you bounced around every couple of years because I'm very social and I love making friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, make friends every new place I get, like, and then just leave these guys. I hated that part of the military.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me. I'll just go be, because I was a police officer in the Navy. So I was like, let me be a police officer in the civilian life.
Yeah.
So I got out after 2 years, went to bbufalo. And then when I got to Buffalo, like they like do this enrollment thing with like unemployment and workforce and all this stuff. So they're like, go into the office, we'll set you up and we'll get your name out there to all these people.
Yeah.
They put my name out with this federal prison, and I got hired like in like 2 weeks, and I'm like 22 years old making like $35 an hour working for this federal
Wow.
prison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a miracle for me. Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's
Yeah.
70 grand a year. Quick
Yeah,
math, something
yeah,
like that.
it was really good money.
For a 22-year-old.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I definitely realized I didn't want to be a corrections officer because I'm sitting there
God,
all day, 8 to 12 hours work. Like,
ACO,
With-
ACO,
yeah, yeah,
ACO.
exactly,
And
like
ask me how I know
constant-
about that. That's another
Yeah.
story for another podcast.
Yeah.
But let's just say I spent 15 hours in central booking in Manhattan.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
on the other side.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just appalled. Why the fuck anybody would sign up to be a CO is
Yeah.
beyond me, bro. The
it's
pay,
like you're in prison.
is the
Like,
pay
you're
good?
in
100%.
prison.
Is
Yeah.
the pay good?
I mean, yeah, the pay was good there, but I was a contract officer. I didn't work. It was an ICE prison actually, so a lot of the people were getting deported
Got
and
it.
immigration out. So from there, I hit up my buddy Lewis, who I was stationed in Iceland with.
Yeah.
He was like my best friend when I was in, and he was from West Palm. So, and I had a serious girlfriend, everything like up, and I was like, let me come down and visit. So I came down and visit, and he's such a good host. He took me like all these places, came for like a week on vacation, and I was like, I'm moving down. And
Yeah,
he was like,
done.
yeah, very funny.
It's not
I was like,
it's not a hard sale.
I literally applied for like 8 police departments in the next week and first one I got hired by was Delray.
Sweet.
So moved
Awesome.
down, did police academy down here in South Florida. Like 6 months later after I came to visit him, shocked everybody up north. I'm
course.
moving to Florida.
Of course,
you
because
know.
they're stuck. They're stuck.
So
that's amazing. Dude.
I don't know if I told you guys this story yet, but from there things got kind of. I wasn't the greatest cop. I mean, I was super cop is what my nickname was.
Dude, tell me stories about.
Can you tell us the juice? What
Yeah,
did you do
I mean,
wrong?
I got in a really bad car crash. It was my fault. Lady got hurt bad. I was running lights and sirens, and
in
ran-
your vehicle.
yeah, in my cop on duty, hit a woman. So that was bad.
Wow.
And then after that, they just wanted to get rid of me, so they ended up firing me for something else.
Ah,
I sued them, or we went to arbitration, and they did all this stuff wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they couldn't have fired me for what they fired. And I was always like super smart. I was documenting everything in notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I ended up winning my job back, right?
Nice.
With back pay.
Okay, now I quit.
Yeah. Well, so now it was like, well, you can either come back or you can take this settlement. And I was like, I was like, and then, we were going back. I think this went on for 3 or 4 years. So I think they owed me like $350,000 or something. So we're
not inconsequential.
So we were negotiating back and forth for a while. We settled for a lot less than that, but they were like, you can't come back. You got to sign this agreement. You're not going to work for us again, and we'll just pay you out the settlement. So I took the settlement, and I was always, and then during that time when I was going through all this, a buddy of mine, Joe, who's, one of my really good friends, I still talk to him. We've been kind of separate over the years just because we had kids and stuff, and he lives farther away, but he owns this really successful company, and during that time he was like, he hit me up and he's like, hey, let's open some Cash for Gold stores. And I was like, oh yeah, let's do it, I'm down.
Nice.
I'll start you out at this, and then I'll keep bumping your salary up, and we'll run these. And this is back because I left the PD in like 2009, and the market was horrible.
Yeah.
And they froze step raises at the police department too for 8 years.
Wow.
So it's like I wouldn't even gotten a raise if I stayed anyway. So I was like,
so stop there. You see that, right?
Yeah.
He's faced with a choice: you take the settlement or keep going.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing, bro.
Yeah. Obstacles too. Obstacles, 100%. Common story.
Yeah. Lots. Yeah. I mean, one of my roommates at the time got in some heat as he was a cop, so I found him in his room, passed away, unfortunately. So I went through that when I was a cop.
Jesus.
You know what I mean?
So talk about that. What do you mean?
So
you found your roommate who was also a Delray cop.
he was Boca cop at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 cops living together.
Yeah, because he was...
And then he just wakes up dead?
Yeah, he was under some type of investigation. Supposedly there was like a, sexual thing with a girl.
Yeah.
I was home at the time. I didn't hear anything,
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then they ended up ruling his death natural causes. But,
Wow.
I didn't hear from him a couple days. And then, I checked his door. And then I went up, take a shower, get ready for work. And I was like, I wonder if he's in his room. So I literally get dressed up in full uniform.
Yeah.
And then I come down and his door's locked, and I was like, oh my gosh, it only locks from the inside. And I just kind of pop it open, pushed on it, and there he was laying in his bed, unfortunately.
Jesus.
Called 911, so this is a whole ordeal I went through. And this was when I was only with the police department, I think, right out of the academy. We were both still on field training. Yeah.
Dude,
total shock at that point. I can't imagine.
I mean, so I haven't heard one happy thing about being a cop yet.
Yeah, this story.
I mean, were you just dying to take the settlement to get out?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see like a successful path.
Right.
Like the worst thing, I mean, I do miss parts of it, but the worst thing I miss about it is you are dealing with everybody's problems.
Yeah.
Going to domestics when you're 24 years old and dealing with 50-year-olds, you know what I mean? That just... you're surrounded by so much negativity, and I also think that this is why. And I look at the statistics, and 75% of cops and firefighters get divorced. You know what I mean? And it's because you become so desensitized.
And how do you leave it at the front door?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
okay, so we're done being a cop.
Yep.
Right? Did you open the Cash for Gold store?
Yeah. So we did the Cash for Gold stores, and this is before I got my settlement with the police department. So we opened the Cash for Gold stores. We had 6 at one time, 2 in Naples and 4 over here, maybe 5 it was. And we had, and then we ended up hiring someone in recovery.
Nice.
For drug treatment.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, why don't you guys look into to drug treatment and rehab more, like rehab.
And for those that don't know, Delray Beach is was at one point the rehabilitation capital of the world.
Yeah.
So it was in
tons of tons of people coming down.
And is that because they wanted like a beautiful sunny place for people to feel serene? Is that how it occurs?
I think that I think that's a part of it, but also there's a lot of companies that have started
that
started
also
down
at
here.
the time very loose regulations.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And it's a lot like what I do, where one buddy tells one buddy, where it tells one buddy, where it tells one buddy. And down here, don't forget, bro, you might be standing next to a fucking billionaire at Publix. You don't know. So
Yep.
the point is, you got a lot of silent money backers down here that it's easy to acquire a couple million to start a rehab center.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a perfect storm, and I think that's why it ended up here in Delray. But
So we ended up hiring these guys, and then Joe ended up starting one, and I kind of helped him in the beginning, but then I wanted to go out on my own because I had a good buddy of mine hit me up and was like, "Oh, why don't we start one together?" And I was like, "All right." So right when I get the settlement from Delray, that's when that happens.
nice.
Literally take all of that money
Yep.
and put it into a place in Boynton that we started, and
Dude, just bet on yourself. Can
Yep.
you imagine?
just put it
That's
all in.
Elon Musk did the same thing after he sold PayPal. Put it all.
Yeah.
Dude, I got so
all in, bro.
I got so nervous because during that time I ended up this is when I was first got with Patricia, and we had a baby, my wife, and during that time I was so freaking nervous because I put it all in, everything.
Dude, burn
and,
the boats.
And it came to the next month where I had to pay rent and I didn't have it, but then we literally got our first checks in
Wow.
from the
Dude, isn't
facility.
Isn't it amazing how that works?
Yeah, because we had to get everything set up with the insurance companies and this, and had to get clients and.
Well, the universe is happening for you,
Yeah.
never to you, bro. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. You put out
That's amazing, yeah.
You put out that good work. You put out that good effort, man. It's always going to come back. It might not be on your schedule, but it will always come back, which is cool. So, dude, you went all in, paid off. You got the treatment course.
We had no
what I
loans
want to
either.
know.
It was all of
zero
our own.
debt, bro.
Yep.
But let that be a lesson for anybody listening, right? You have to burn the boats because people, and Jordan Peterson says this, right? This I've heard this for years, right? When faced with death or victory, you're going to go down. You're going to go down with a fight, or you're going to win, right? So that's commendable, man. It takes balls to do that. So fast forward, how do we get with Heroic? Talk to me about flipping homes.
I got kind of burnt out, right?
With rehab?
With the rehab. And I look back at it now, and I probably should have stayed the course, but I feel like that everything happens for a reason, right? Because I had a really good partner back then. And but if you get burnt out, you get burnt out. And I think one of the biggest suggestions I can say to like listeners is don't let emotions control like decisions.
Yeah.
Like you got to reflect with emotions. You know what I mean? And I'm a very emotional person. I mean, Steve, you know that, right?
Yeah.
And like, so I've learned to have people now that I can just stop and calm down and reach out to them.
Yeah.
And like counselors and marriage counselors, stuff like that you can just pick up the phone and call someone and to talk about these decisions before you actually make them.
Yeah, and listen, to that point, as men, like, men don't give a fuck, bro. Solve your problem.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you very wise, and there's a stigma about, I don't want to classify what you're doing as therapy, but there's a stigma for men because we're not allowed to show weakness, right?
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
So hiring a professional, somebody that you can talk to, whether it's a mentor or professional psychological help. I mean, dude, for you, I know we talk about it all the time, right? But people don't give a fuck about your problems, man.
Yeah.
Keep your goddamn mouth shut. Keep it off social media. Keep it to yourself. Solve your problem.
Yep.
Right? And that's what you've been able to do, which is amazing. And you know it. Like the self-awareness for you, dude, is unlike most people that I've met. And I think that's why we're really good friends, you and I. But also Eric fits that mold too, dude. Totally self-aware, which is what a lot of people are missing.
It wasn't always like that. I think it's from the failures.
Right. Me too. Same here.
But, if I could have had people tell me that earlier in life and being surrounded by, people that were a little bit more knowledgeable, like then that would have helped a lot.
Right.
Or just people that are like, when a good friend is when someone will just listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, because that's a lot, like, because these businesses, everything, life, kids, everything, that there's struggles every day.
Of course.
It's really nice when you got,
somebody to just listen to you.
Let me ask you a question. Did you grow up, and I have a reason for asking this, right? Because as you're sitting there and talking, like that's one of my big struggles, right? I usually just absorb it, right? I absorb it. I show a poker face. And don't get me wrong, in my head, I'm thinking, oh boy, shit could hit the fan. But, I'll never let people see that,
Yeah.
and I'm, so that's something I need to be better at, right? And I like talking about this, Steve, because this goes on the relationships topic.
Yep.
Relationships aren't just your husband, wife, or significant other. Relationships are your friends, people you can count on. So I do need. I like hearing you talk about this because I personally need to get better at it. But here's what I want to ask you: Did you grow up with a dad?
The person I call my dad, I think is my dad because I've never met my real father, and I have a twin brother, and he just took off and ghosted my mom. My mom didn't even feel comfortable telling me who my real father was.
Wow.
But then the person I call my dad has been with my mom since I was a year old, right?
So you grew up with a male figure your whole life? Okay.
Yeah. And he's been with my mom for 30 years. But it's interesting because I feel like, there's still like a thing there, like, that maybe he's not, my real dad, right? So, but after amount of time, I think it all went away. You know what I mean? But I wasn't always comfortable when I was a kid, right? Because I'm like, maybe he was too hard on me because he wasn't, you know what I mean, and didn't kind of understand. But and
the reason I'm bringing all this up is I'm, with this podcast, all of us are good at some pillars. I don't claim to be great at every pillar, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow every single day, right? But like, for example, me growing up without a father, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, maybe I had to be the poker
100%,
face and the strong
100%.
one all the time. But I don't want to be ignorant to when I have children, and especially a son in this case. I want to be conscious of it.
Yeah.
I don't want my son to end up being like me, just taking it all in all the time.
No, yeah, and I think I think when we know what our weaknesses are, I think it's best to like reach out and talk to somebody about that on a consistent basis. Like you almost have it scheduled. Like I can tell you what one of my biggest weaknesses right now with construction, right, is the paperwork side of things.
Yeah.
I've cost myself millions of dollars worth of jobs because I'm like a sales and marketing guy, and I like talking to people and building relationships, but I hate having to sit down and do a tedious estimate that's going to take me, 10 hours to do, and because I get so OCD about it, I'm like, I'm going to, forget this piece or forget this piece about it, and then, you know what I mean? But
That's why change orders are important.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
But also, so to counteract that, I have this thing that I listen to now that is just like, all right, you're going to be strong at this, you're going to be weak at this, but just you just got to overcome it, right? And to speak with other people that are in the same shoes. I have 4 different roofing contractors that I can talk to right now that these guys love to do estimates, right? So when I talk to them on the phone, it kind of gives me the motivation to like shit.
Get all cheery about it.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I'm like-
listen. I
That's great.
got something. So what that principle is the less you do, the more you make.
Yeah.
Right? I heard that in 2008. Sean Casey was speaking remotely in a room in Las Vegas. He was up on the screen, and the less you do, the more you make. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Well, what
Yeah.
it means is exactly what you just said. Outsource the things you're not good at.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And look, I live by that today. Right? Now, I have to learn how to do stuff. Like, for example, with the podcast, right? I'm learning the editing tricks. I'm learning the proper software. I'm learning the proper lighting. I'm learning the proper camera. I'm learning the proper format. All that shit. But do you think that's not going to pay me? But at the end of the day, I can train my replacement to do it. The less you do, the more you make. That's a crazy thing for people to really comprehend, digest, and then execute. And you've been able to do that. Whether that's an emotional outlet, right? A business outlet, like you were saying, you got 4 people to talk to that can write estimates. They can train you how to do it better. There's softwares out there. There's third-party companies that can do it. Yes, you're going to pay for it. But it'll allow you to concentrate on what you're good at, which is sales and marketing, which is ultimately what pays the bills.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like it's so interesting because the most successful guys, right, love to read,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not like fictional novels and stuff.
No, they read books,
Self-help.
books by other people.
Right?
Right.
But like, I'm standing over and I'm listening to you guys have this conversation, and there's like a couple of struggles I think I heard or things that I took from just like some books. Like, and I'm like, people don't like, if that's the biggest thing I can give to any of these listeners that are listening and people that hopefully, you know, hear this in the future is just like if you're struggling with something or if you want to learn how to do something, then read like a self-help book.
Yeah.
Do a book by tape. Do like anything.
And Tony Robbins says something really interesting about it. If you've never been to a Tony Robbins event, I highly suggest you start with Unleash the Power Within. It's tremendous. You actually walk on fire. That's besides the point. What he says is, you know, you have to read books. And the reason he likes reading books is because it's not just one person writing them. A lot of times it's a conglomeration of 5 or 6 people's experiences with that particular subject. So ultimately, reading a book that's written by a group of people is like absorbing life skills from 5 or 6 people within one source. So, you know, it's inherently valuable, which is great. That's something I'm terrible at. I tend to absorb my stuff through self-research, right?
Mine's all audio.
Yeah, I do a lot of online research. I can't... My ADD and OCD won't allow me to sit down and read a book because I don't feel I'm being productive.
I get like that, too.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But... Again, I'm self-aware enough that, okay, this is a shortcoming. Let's figure out how to fix that problem. So that's really good advice, bro. Where are you going next? What are you doing next?
I mean, the biggest thing for me now is just blowing up. Like, I think roofing is where I love. You know, I think specialty trades is where it's at because there's such a lack of people right now. You know, and I mean, I texted you guys a picture like a couple days ago. I'm up on the roof with the guys, just making sure they're doing things like up to standards. You know what I mean? And it's like,
well, why do you like roofing so much? What's because there's a gap in the market, or what is it about roofing?
What is it?
Yeah, I mean, to go do a job, right, and you can make $3,000 or $4,000 on one house in one day. You know what I mean? Like for a roof is, I think, like. You know, it's a really good business. But also, I think, like, when you're standing on that roof and half the roofs in Florida or in that neighborhood have to be replaced, you're like, oh, well, to get another one, I just need to knock on the neighbor's door. Yeah. You know what I mean? And talk to them or have somebody go there and knock on the door. And then let me do this for the whole neighborhood. And then let me do this for the whole county. You know what I mean?
Like, bro, our neighborhood this summer, bro, I counted at least 15 homes.
Yeah,
and Gustafson had 10.
I know. There's 2 on my street right now, and here's what's wild. I've had my roofing license since 2018, right? And because I was so focused on the other stuff, I never even sent out flyers to the own neighborhood. A lot of these, I bet you, a lot of these guys would choose me if they knew that I even lived in here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just the awareness. You know what's cool too, and this is going to contradict something that you said, but it's good to hear a different path to success. Yeah. So, and I wonder if you were thinking about it. He told me some really cool stories about how he got into the house flipping game. You know, he wasn't an expert at first. Today, you can just follow him for a month and see that he's an expert, right?
Of course.
So, but what he did, Steve, contrary to what you said, he invested a ton of money into his education. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I because when I left the treatment space, we were already making like such good money. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to leave a company, I know it takes time to start making money again with the new company. How can I accelerate that, right? So I started Googling, doing internet research, and then so I'm like, oh, mastermind group. I can pay for a mastermind group to teach me all the secrets about business, right? So then it explodes me to the next level.
Yeah. What would that group cost you?
$25,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I paid.
You know, what's the dude? 25 G's a drop in a bucket. You
and
said
I
it
never
yourself. Not knowing what you don't know has cost you millions in jobs.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So imagine how much that 25K saved you.
25K, right? And before that, I had flipped a house, and I did it from the auction because that's the only thing I really knew. Got super lucky. Bought this house in Pahokee for $40,000 from the auction.
Nice.
Drove out there, cleaned it out, and there were shutters actually on the house. There was like shotguns in the house and everything.
Nice.
So he's made some money selling the stuff that was in the house. Yeah. But then the neighbor walked across the street and was like, hey, my daughter's approved for a mortgage. She's been wanting to buy this house for years. Would you be willing to sell it to us? And I'm like, yeah, 100%.
Yes, I would.
Got them approved for like $65K, and they bought the house, and now they live right across the street from their parents. You know,
amazing, man.
Yeah, like
the universe happens for you, bro.
Yeah, so that was the first house I flipped. But then when I joined the group, right, everybody was like, don't buy houses from auctions because everybody's overpaying from the auctions.
No, I got crushed.
So I was already talking to people, and they were like, yeah, never buy an auction house again. This is how you get them, right? So, and it's so funny because I met so many flippers that even would join the group, and we only got houses short sale or from the auction. And I'm like, well, I don't get them like that. I've only gotten one like that because I know that route doesn't work, and I only got this info from the mastermind group. Yeah. But everybody else that didn't join the group that was still doing it the old way and couldn't make money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, so that $25K paid off
for itself.
in droves, bro.
Yeah.
We're probably short on time, Steve.
We're good. We're about a little over an hour because I can't keep my goddamn mouth shut.
No, you're all good. But, I really want to ask you this, right? Because I'm thinking, who I think about a lot is Sexual Actual's younger brother, okay? 20-year-old guy, right? Let's say you're talking to him. His name is Marcus. He's currently studying abroad in Italy. He's having the time of his life.
I bet he is.
And this kid is, this kid is about his money, okay? Yep. And he's like, Eric, whatever the heck. Literally his attitude is, whatever the heck you think I should do when I'm 22. Like, I'm doing it. Like, I think he literally was even considering dropping out of college. But his parents are like, no, you finish. They're not having it, right?
Yeah. Right.
So what would you say, and this might not necessarily be the game he wants to get in, right? What would you say to a young man, young woman trying to get into this game? Where do they start?
So I think CEOs and persons that are like us, like that run companies, are so giving with information that I feel like that to really feel like if it's like meant for them, that they should befriend somebody that's already successful and come shadow them. Come shadow them for a week.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get paid.
Yeah. So what?
But you get tons of free information. See if it's for you.
Free education.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you'll know right away, hey, can I do this? Or can I,
But you can't be a doofus.
No.
Right? Like here's so this
you mean the guy, the young guy?
Yeah, bro. Like this is the thing, right? So we talked about this in one of the other episodes, bro. Most 20-year-old, they're so completely unaware of self, right? Mm-hmm. And I've said this to plenty of young people. You haven't punched your ticket. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to come to somebody that's in our shoes with a serving mentality.
Yes.
How can I help you better your business? Knowing full well that if that CEO or that entrepreneur or that business owner is willing to sacrifice their time to take you under their wing and show you the most valuable information that they've learned over the course of their career, you better not be a dick.
Like, I'll come carry better, shingles for free and stuff like that.
Something.
Like,
just teach me how to do it. Serving mentality when everybody else their age is a selfish
really
little prick.
I've also spent a ton of money in learning personality profiles. And there's all these different personality traits. And like predictive index is a good example. DISC is another one. But this doesn't change. Right? Like personalities are formed by the way you're raised and, for the first 20 years of your life. It might change a little bit after that, but you pretty much at that age, you are who you are, right? So what's your personality say that you should do? What's a DISC profile say you are? Are you it is mind-boggling to me how many people apply for sales roles
but that are not suited for it.
But they should be a project manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's
So what's the website there? Where can somebody go that's listening to figure out their own
you can just
Bristol Meyer or Bristol, what are those tests called?
I think the biggest one that's free is DISC, DISC, and there's a lot of different companies that give them. And
so if somebody was going to Google it, somebody was going to Google that.
Google DISC assessment, DISC assessment, and then take an assessment. You know what I mean?
That'll give you a good push to what's going to fit your own personality. That's cool. Again, self-awareness. Right? Dude, all three of us I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm in fucking sales.
I would argue all of us were late starters too. So you know what I mean? Like I didn't. You know, don't get me wrong. I made $100,000 when I was like 26, but I didn't start making $250,000, let's say, till like my young 30s.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
The same way.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
and do not be. I mean, there's 20-year-olds that could do affiliate marketing and stuff like that and make that kind of money, right? But that's kind of rare, right?
So, not anymore.
So yeah, but
what, affiliate marketing?
No, I'm just. But what are the real percentages like
of people that are making?
Like,
dude, the average affiliate marketer takes $177,000 a year.
But of
that's
the people
average,
that are
bro.
doing it that are 20 years old.
Quite a few now.
Right?
I'm a fucking
like
dinosaur,
maybe
bro.
still 1% though of 20-year-olds.
No, the average affiliate marketer, I'll say it again, makes $177,000 a year. And the reason is, bro, you have your regular class of affiliate, right? Which is somebody starting out that knows how to use an email service provider company for email marketing, maybe knows how to run TikTok ads, shit like that, right? And then you have super affiliates. The super affiliate space is where I started, right? These people were the biggest names in our vertical, and for decades, bro.
Yeah,
they made their millions and they're done. They're off doing whatever the fuck else they're doing. That percentage is 1%.
Yeah.
Okay, a super affiliate, somebody that can literally press a button and make $35,000, and I know plenty of them because I pay them myself. Is 1%. You're not going to run into that guy on the street. Evidence by. Go to Affiliate Summit West, East, Affiliate World, any of these, Traffic and Conversion, any of these internet marketing conferences. I haven't missed one in 15 years. When I started, maybe 5,000-6,000 people. The one I just went to in January, 60,000 people attended this fucking thing. Bro, they had to move it for the first time in 10 years from Paris because there's too many people. They literally had a building outside just for the registration at Caesars.
The company that puts that on is killing it.
Oh, dude, they're murdering it, and they acquired it. The company that bought Affiliate Summit, just that meeting, acquired it, I think, in 12 or 13. So, no, dude, no. Affiliate marketers, it's a high-paying job if you know what you're doing.
So,
right?
But pretty much, like, the whole point is that don't expect to go in and just start killing it right away.
Not.
You got to learn the information. You got to put yourself out there. Be respectful. You know what I mean? Like, I think,
Yeah, when asking for help, sure.
Hard work, right?
Yeah, put your head down.
The
grind.
mentality and the grinding is where what got me to this point.
Dude, you see these memes all over the place, right? And this is an amazing piece of advice. And I'll tell 20-somethings this all the time. Okay, you're 22, you're 23. You're having an intelligent conversation with me, which I appreciate. What are all your fucking friends doing? They're going out getting drunk. They're going out chasing women. Put your head down for 5 years.
Yep.
Don't come up for air. You're going to be 28 years old. You're going to be making $250,000 to $500,000 a year in whatever you're doing. I don't care if you're internet marketing, fucking roofing, selling golf equipment. It doesn't matter. Work your craft.
The girls will always be there.
And they're going to be there plenty when you have $500,000. The point is, put your head down. While everybody else is burning their money and spending it on nonsensical shit to keep up with the Joneses, by the time you come up for air, you're the rich guy in the group. The world is your oyster at that point, bro. Would you sacrifice 5 years of fiddle fucking around?
Let me give you the contrary of that. Ready?
Go ahead.
Just to be a
because that's that's my perspective.
Let me give you the contrary though, and I'm going to try to. And I really hope it was Gary Vee because I'm 99% sure I heard him say this. You know who Gary Vee is?
Yes.
Both of you guys?
Okay. Gary Vee.
So he got his business started. I think his father owned a winery. I think he said it was doing like $3 million a year. And then he basically started selling it online
Wine
orders.
library.
Numbers, I could be off on the numbers. I think he got it up to 20 million, maybe 60 million. I don't know, something crazy, right?
Yeah.
So the guy's a genius. I love watching him. He's funny as hell. He's smart as hell, right? But I heard this interviewer ask him. Now, he talked about when he was in college, Steve, all he did was he'd leave his classes and then he'd go work on this winery thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's all he did.
Yeah.
He worked 70, 90 hours a week. He was just nonstop. They asked him what his biggest regret was in his past.
Oh, not living life in 20s?
No, his exact words were, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I swear to God, he said, I wish I would have tried a couple of drugs and fucked a few more girls. Okay, but my point is,
you're fucking Gary Vee.
that's literally no. But
but
even
not then he was.
Yeah.
what
Back
what
then he
he's
wasn't.
saying is that I should have also enjoyed being 18 to 25. So I agree with you, Steve. I'm not. I agree with you. I'm just giving the contrarian thing. And we always talk about balance, right? Balance doesn't mean 50-50. If you're going 50-50,
you're not going anywhere.
No.
yeah, but give me a 90-10 rule.
Yeah.
Okay, 90-10.
Even 80-20.
Okay,
You can enjoy your
go out,
enjoy
go
the
hard
fruits of
every
your
other
labor. Sure,
weekend. How
sure,
about that?
sure. Not
But-
even every other.
Because I think you'll get. I really believe there have been periods in my life, Steve, where, and I'm in one of them right now. Like I'm on my grind, right?
Yeah.
And I do get a little like, I'm like, babe, I'm a little like my brain's a little. Sometimes you do gotta disconnect a little.
Well,
I am.
yeah,
Yeah,
but-
she says I'm crazy.
But we talked about that earlier.
Sexy Lexi's up there with the camera.
We talked about that earlier. You're going to start reaching out, right?
Yep, no
You're
doubt.
going to reach out.
Yeah, no doubt.
When your screws get scrambled, you're
Yeah,
gonna,
no doubt.
All right, guys, listen, dude. Hour and 15 minutes. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
That means it was a good conversation.
It flew by, bro.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel freaking amazing.
I know
Said
you-
you're
feel I
nervous
wanna do
at
an-
first.
Yeah, I was nervous.
And we're just talking with the homies.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
That's all we're doing.
It's
And I actually like you get into it more because you're so excited about telling your story,
for sure.
right? Like because I could tell it all day long. I think one of the biggest reasons why I'm meant to be an entrepreneur and a business owner is because I want to help other people get to where I'm at.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care about telling a roofing contractor about that roof over there. If he ends up getting it over me, it's okay as long as I know that that customer is being taken care of or being served, or
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. Like I want people to be successful, so that's why I love doing this.
Yeah, man, and you're a beast. I mean, I've been impressed with you since the day I met you. Really, man, you've been a really good friend in terms of listening to my bullshit as well.
Yeah.
Guys, that's it for
I appreciate having me
podcast
on.
3. Dude, thank you for your
We'll
time.
have you on again, dude.
Thank you.
We should do a Bills podcast.
Oh
one day.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. When football season starts, we're gonna come and talk shit about our Bills, guys. If you notice in front here, we got 3 flavors of Battle Bars. These things are absolutely delicious, man. This is one of the meal replacement things that I eat. They're about 210 calories with between 18 and 16 grams of protein. The s'mores are my favorite, dude. Have you tried one yet?
I haven't.
No,
I like that
I
they got
haven't.
collagen in them too. I'm big on
bro,
collagen.
They're tremendous. They really
I'm
help.
gonna steal
me.
a couple from you.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So that's it for episode 3, guys. Thank you so much. A new episode every Friday up on Spotify, and then about 3-4 days later, we'll have them up on YouTube. So be sure to follow Burgers with Eric on Instagram and YouTube, wherever you get your podcast.